Yeah, I'm not so sure about this. So this is a build that I have been pushing in front of myself for the last 6 months. I have this case for quite some time now. This is the Geometric Future Model 4, and I'm not 100% sure now what the color is called again. It's the yellow one. I think it was Caliber, or Sir Arthur's? Something like that. But this is the yellow version, essentially, yellow-black version of the Model 4. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the case is bad. I'm not saying it yet, I haven't made up my mind about it. But there are features, or there are things about this case which are just... I don't know, I am not sure, and I haven't been sure for the last 6 months, which is why I just pushed the video in front of myself. And it's not the first time I opened the case. I already had a lot of notes about this. I did a lot of things in it. But for now, I wanted to do a last build in it and then make up my mind. Is it a interesting or innovative design? Yeah, we will find that out for today. So this is the Model 4. It has a openable glass side panel. Yeah, here in the bottom. Ta-da! And the special sauce about this side panel is that here you got like this cutout, which is this cutout here. And that looks pretty cool. From Mini ITX all the way up to E80X, which is pretty impressive given like the size, because it's a small case. It's a very small mid-tower. In the bottom, we got like those huge, yeah, you can see them, huge cutouts, again, in the whole Geometric Future logo style. And the top panel and the left side panel are essentially one big piece. Yeah, this is just a mesh filter, but you kind of grab it here and then you hope that you, yeah. That's how you remove it. And I can already show you what I mean with weird design choices. The power supply goes right here into the yellow part, and you have two possibilities. You can screw it in so that the power supply, the cable, looks towards me, like from your perspective right now, and then you have a hard limit. It's basically the width of the case. That's how long your power supply plus cable can be. Or what you can also do is reconfigure the case so that this part here, or this part here, lifts up, and then this sits on top of this, like this. So you have basically this here touches this at this height, and then you have a hole here. Yeah, I don't know. Let's just make the last build in here, and then we will figure things out. Now, for this last build, I wanted to try some things before I start writing the review, because on paper, you cannot mount an AIO into this. As like for my measurements, you should be. It's probably not like the most convenient thing for your 8-pin EPS connector, but like from looking at it, you should be able to fit a 240mm AIO without lifting the whole thing up and destroying the aesthetic, and that's what I wanted to try for today. I wanted to do it as yellow as possible because obviously. And for this, I wanted to use my trusty old ASRock Z690 Taiji, which isn't necessarily yellow, but it has all of like that copper goldish thing going, so that should be fine. Then we got some RGB RAM, and as I said, we are going with a Z690, so it's either 12, 13 or 14th gen, and I'm using a 13600K for today, because that's going to be plenty to power that Zotac RTX 3080 Ti, which I haven't used in a long time, and I wanted to use it to match it with those like grayish yellow cables, which finally a pretty build. It has been a long time since I did a pretty build. Then I just got a new box today, like an hour ago. No joke, an hour. It is still wrapped. Unopened, I haven't benchmarked it yet, and I'm going to benchmark it later. But ID Cooling sent over a new AIO, and it kind of looked cool. It's the DX240. No clue how it performs. It's going to be a surprise, but it has some RGB on the water block. Those like fancy new little lines there, and that's, I wanted to pair that. But I'm going to replace the fans because they are not ARGB and they are not yellow. And I got these Geometric Future ones, the Squama 2505Y in yellow, which matches. It's going to look nice. We got theoretically 3 fan spots in the bottom, and I'm going to only use 2 of them with these other Geometric Future fans, the Squama 2503B. I guess B stands for black, but they are going in the bottom, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's start with the motherboard. By the amount of dust which is on this box, you can guess how long it has been since I last used this motherboard. Okay, with the motherboard ready, I guess let's just try to get it in, because then we can already find out if that top actually, or if my idea with mounting a 240 AIO in the top actually works without like lifting the case, because it's still not sure. It's possible that it just flat out doesn't work, and then, yeah, well, then we will lift the case. It sucks, but if it has to be like that, then it's going to be like that. What can go wrong? At least the mod. We will not show this on camera. We won't. The motherboard is in, and just by looking at it, the AIO should fit. However, even if it does, once it's in, I have no access to anything up here. So before we do anything further, let's just pre-connect the 8-pin EPS. No. It's going to be this one. Yeah, it's this one. And route it in the way that I need it for later, because once anything else is going in, it's basically finished. Okay, so I have to do this strategically. I can't just start to press stuff in. Yeah, let me get the third back fan, install the back fan, pre-route the back fan, and maybe possibly even connect it. And then we will slap in the AIO, because that's like I think the only way that we can do this properly. Yeah, let's do that. As I said, I'm not going to use the original fans, and I'm pretty sure ID Cooling is not particularly happy about that, but like design-wise, that just makes so much more sense. And then for the review, I'm going to install the right fans on here, of course. Okay, now thinking smart, part 2. I need to mount this and connect the fans kind of at the same time, because once that block is in there, it's finished. So let's put this here into the header. What is blocking? Ha! Oh my god, this fits perfectly. And it wasn't actually the motherboard or the VRM or anything. It's actually here a leftover of the like machinery where this is like permanently mounted to some other part. And it's one of the screws here that block. But yeah, you can get it through. Oh, that's like really cool. I guess with the thinner AIO it's going to be easier because it's just not in the way. But yeah, this works. Oh, I'm so happy right now. Because that also means that I don't need to do like that lift, and that's just, oh. I don't know who came up with the idea of lifting half of a case. Ta-da! Screw the manual. Okay, top-mounted AIO works. Oh, damn. Okay, let's just finish up the cabling and then we can move to the power supply, because that's going to be the next amazing experience here. Oh, and by the way, yes, I did route these tubes here on purpose on the left side, because it just looked much better. If they were coming in from here, the angle here was just too stiff, and it just didn't look nice. Which, frankly, it does look nice. And you cannot see it, but like the yellow color does go quite well with the case. So we are at this point. Now we have bottom fans, GPU, PSU. Yeah, let's start with the bottom fans. And I'm going to mount them, because I can choose to mount them in this foot here or on top of it. But I think I'm going to mount them below, just because, I don't know, I just chose so. So far I'm kind of shocked how clean everything seems to be. Like too clean. I feel like I need to uglify something here. It's just a bit too clean. I guess at this point let's just do the power supply. And then I can pre-route the cables for the GPU, and then we are basically done. But I guess I don't need everything. We got that 1000 watts power supply here. We need 3 or 2 PCIe, 1 and 2. We don't need SATA like at all, which makes me really happy. Now for the power supply, it's not complicated, but I need to do like version 2 of this case. And oh my because I need to get the power supply in this hole, and that's not doable right now, and I'm just hoping that I can remove this yellow part of the case without removing basically everything else from the case. Oh god, yeah. Now I can mount the power supply. And I guess I'm going to do the stupid thing of having its fan like pull from this side. That's one of the problems. We will talk about it in the review. Like every airflow path you are trying to do with this case, and everything has like a problem. And yeah, well, I can't really do anything about that. That's the part of the case which is not a truly enjoyable experience, because look, now we have the situation. I can also turn the power supply around, have the fan face this side, but then it's going to be squished against this, which is also stupid. But now we got the situation that all of the cables are looking backwards, which is already... I will close that, but I'm not happy about it. I should have taken a shorter power supply, but I just won't. I would squish them. But that's just like a problem. I could have rotated it upwards, which also technically works, basically mounted to this, but that only works if I lift the backside of the case up so that I have that ugly looking hole in the front. Everything I do is just bad. That's where we are at. So now I somehow need to fiddle all of these cables back in here, which I mean, it helps a bit with cable management because routing cables to the back and to the front again and everything that like takes away cabling, so that helps a bit, but no. Just no. Okay, and now coming to the fun part, putting this here back on. So this went on something like this. Goes there in between, but above this one. Oh. There goes the finger. Okay, I got it in, but for anybody who will plan to do the same build in here, take a shorter power supply. Like the, what is it, Be Quiet Pure Power? Yeah, Pure Power 12 amp is too long. It's just, it's a 1200 watt by the way, but it's too long. Don't do what I just did. I pushed the cables like here in front of the power supply. You can maybe even see that there is just like a finger gap in between it. That's just not enough. It works now for me here, okay, for the build, and then I'm going to disassemble it anyway in like 2 hours. Well, no, okay, I need to do the review first, like in a few days. I'm not going to run this. For you at home, don't do this. Take a shorter power supply. But with that, I guess the last part is GPU, and then we are done. Oh, this has been a long time since I last used this one. Now let's see if it boots. It works! I got a few things on the case. First, I am happier with it than I thought after doing like thorough looking, measuring and trying out a bunch of components. But the whole build went better than I expected because I was able to fit that 240mm AIO in the top, because I tried it a bunch of times with lifting the case. I just don't get it. Like this, it's fine. I'm happy with how the build turned out. Performance-wise, it's also okay. I just ran everything on auto, essentially, and the CPU peaked at like mid-80s, and the GPU was sitting at like 71, I believe it was. And then I opened the side panel, and then it jumped to, lo and behold, 72. And so, no, everything is, or the case, or the concept, and everything, like in and out of the case works perfectly fine. I'm happy with that. That's good. Now on the case, I'm just not sure. It's either the power supply is choking, or it is fighting with the CPU air cooler in that case. So both are just stupid. The alternative is an AIO, and initially based on the manual and based on the documentation of the case, I believe 240 is only possible if you lift it up. It turns out no, you can do 240 like this. So I am happier than I was in the beginning when we started this video, but I'm still not so sure about it. I mean, it looks cool, and I think the overall design of what we built here today is kind of cool. One small problem, like the glass gives the LEDs inside like a slight greenier color, but that's just because it's like tinted. So you can see my face, it's a tinted glass. So that's where that comes from. But overall, the design, I'm quite happy with it. The build turned out fine, and like this, I do like the build, but I don't think I would do this like for myself. Especially the fans. The fans, I chose them for design, but the yellow Skoma fans are just not that good on here. Incredibly loud and not that well performing. Like for this. Yeah, this was our build inside of the Geometry Future Model 4. Now I need to somehow group my thoughts on this case because I'm just not so sure about it. But for today, this is going to be it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I didn't swear too much because that was a sweary build. But hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.